Another James Bond, Daniel Craig, has just completed his final Bond movie, No Time to Die. The movie has just been released in Australia and I went to see it a couple days ago. Starting from 1962, this series is now 59 years old, and the film's protagonist Bond has long become a worldwide icon. In the next 2 episodes, we are going to look into how the actors, the actresses, the visuals, and the essence of Bond movies evolved through the years. Hello everyone, welcome to Visual Literacy Hub. This is Angela. I created this channel to record my daily observation and analysis about the very visual world that we live in. My analysis is 100% personal, nothing professional. This is about you and I together to see, to think, and to share. Well, let the fun begin! As a world-renowned spy movie, the Bond series had 6 actors and 25 movies in total. The author of the original fiction, Lancaster Fleming, was a former British agent who was born in a family of wealth and privilege. He was educated in England, Germany, and Switzerland, and had worked as a journalist in Moscow, a banker, a stockbroker, a high-ranking officer in British naval intelligence during World War II, and a manager of the London Sunday Times before he became a full-time writer. At the age of 54, Fleming retired from the Navy. Looking back to the first half of his life full of danger and excitement, he took up the pen and wrote a novel, Casino Royale. Bond became the embodiment of Fleming and the people he met in his spy career. Bond is about 40 years old, multi-skilled and multilingual. He knows how to gamble, how to flirt, how to enjoy fine wines, and how to look good in an expensive suit. He is the ultimate gentleman and the finest killing machine. Many of the names used in the Bond movies also came from the people Fleming knew. For example, the villain in The Man with the Golden Gun was named after a boy who Fleming once fought with at school. The novel soon became a huge success, but it also received many criticisms. The spy novelist David Cornwell criticized Bond's immorality, calling him a licensed criminal who, in the name of false patriotism, approves of nasty crimes. Many also objected to Bond's arrogant way to treat women. Fleming explained that Bond is not a hero, nor is he depicted as being very likable or admirable. He is not a bad man, but he is ruthless and self-indulgent. He enjoys the fight, but he also enjoys the prizes. In the Bond series, Bond's image has evolved with the time while remaining the same identity and abilities. The first Bond, Sean Connery, was involved in 6 Bond movies. Sean portrayed Bond as a mix of cool, charisma, violence, and elegance. Later, Australian actor George Lazenby became Bond's successor in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Unfortunately, the film was not well received, leading George to resign from playing Bond. In the 1970s, Roger Moore starred in his first James Bond movie, Live and Let Die. Over the next 10 years, as the longest-running Bond actor, Roger portrayed Bond with elegance, humor, and was viewed as the most stylish Bond. Unlike Roger, the next Bond, Timothy Dalton's portrayal of Bond was darker and more serious. After Timothy, it was Pierce Brosnan who successfully portrayed an agent with both strength and tenderness. The reason for his huge success can be traced back to the end of the Cold War in the 1980s and 90s. The global economy restarted, the political atmosphere eased, and society began to flourish in consumerism. Brosnan's calm and chic style was exactly what the era appreciated. People like his ease and enjoying spending more time appreciating the luxurious items that appear in the movie and less time worrying about his life. The core reason why James Bond has been successful in the cinema for more than half a century with its patent storyline is the connotation of heroism conveyed. Whether it is in the movie industry or in the real world, heroism always sells. Heroes are tagged with keywords like courage, strength, tenaciousness, and wisdom, and they often merge under uncertain eras and conflicts. There's a natural desire in human beings to worship strength and knowledge, whether it is a person of good and evil like Loki or a person of justice and compassion like Superman. The rise of the James Bond series originated from a politically unstable time, the Cold War. Bond was therefore the perfect vehicle for patriotism. In 1963, in the movie From Russia with Love, Bond worked with Russian spy Tatiana, who agreed to help him in order to escape to the West. The yellow villain setting is also a little bit of paranoia from the early Bond movies. In the first film, Dr. No, the villain was a Chinese-German man wearing a cheongsam suit. The implication was more than obvious. In 1995's Golden Eye, as the Soviet Union had long disintegrated, Bond found a new opponent, terrorists. Moving to the 21st century, high-tech bioweapons and viruses provide brand new challenges for Bond. Although threats are always being updated, as long as the world remains insecure, James Bond will remain active on screen. Until Pierce Brosnan's version of 007, it was still mostly corresponding to author's original setting. Handsome and tough James Bond, sexy and charm, Bond's girl, a bit of romance, lots of violence, loads of heroism, followed by a happy ending. But when it comes to Daniel Craig, things started to change. In his first movie, Casino Royale, James Bond's first appearance was a chasing scene in Bahamas, where he was wearing a printed holiday shirt, chasing somebody and getting dusty. This scene opened a new era for Bond's character, where he no longer needs to be always clean, calm, and elegant in a suit. From the absolute conqueror, James Bond started to become vulnerable. He started to experience frustration, was constantly injured, embarrassed, betrayed, and defeated. He has to face the deaths of his friends and loved ones. He also decided to let go of the past and settle down with a woman. All these inner conflicts make him more like a real human being. This type of broken hero setting reminds me of Batman. Nowadays, people no longer need stereotypical heroes, just like they can no longer take stereotypical villains. Heroes started to show their darkness, vulnerability, and struggle, while villains are portrayed with more complexity and depth. There's no more black and white, pure right or wrong, but a grey area that allows deeper interpretation of the complex humanity. The James Bond movie has definitely caught up with this cultural shift. But this is not saying that Bond's movie have ditched all of its traditions that are no longer appropriate to the current culture. For example, although the audience enjoyed seeing villains from different countries and backgrounds being well performed thanks to those great actors and actresses, one thing remained consistent when portraying these villains. They are often quite ugly due to some injuries or defects. And this is not exclusive in Bond's movie, but in almost all movies. On average, 1 in 10 of us have some degrees of disabilities. Everybody knows there's no logical connection between having unfortunate visible defects or wound and evilness, and everybody was taught to support people with needs. But because the easiest or the lazy way to portray a villain in movies is to ruin his face or make his body defective, we as audience could be easily influenced by this visual hint. We are taught by these visual languages to be scared and horrified by people with disabilities. But people with disabilities should never be discriminated against, and their images should never be used to show contrast with the handsome movie heroes. I really hope that one day, having a defect or disability will no longer be used as a visual convention for portraying villains. That's all I want to share with you in this episode. Thank you for watching. In the next episode, we're going to continue investigating James Bond movies through the topics of feminism, racism, and cinematography. Who's your favorite Bond? Who's your favorite Bond girl? Leave me a comment below. Like this video and subscribe if you find it interesting or it inspired some critical thinking in you. See you next Wednesday. Bye!